Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And she's going to sit in on a video game episode. I'm surprised, but we're going to talk about these companies coming up with new ways to make sure that you buy digital, that you don't buy physical games. Now it's the carbon footprint. Yes,
I call bullshit.
You're going to kill the environment by playing games on CD or games on cartridge.
No, I call bull crap.
Yeah, this is all manipulation to get you to agree to not own your games anymore. And we know they've been pushing this direction for the last couple of years now. You're not supposed to own your games. They don't want you to own your games. Video games are supposed to be a subscription service, and you're supposed to pay monthly forever to keep access to your games. But, you know, think of the environment.
Yeah, well, if they cared about the environment and the carbon footprint, the machines do more damage. They don't, phase out their machines. They aren't phasing out the AI they want to put into things.
Right? Like the AI-infused video games are going to use far more resources than, a PlayStation game from 10 years ago on a disc, right? But we know that's not what it's actually about. It's about control. They want to control you, the gamer.
It's about their wallets.
It's about their wallets.
Which we're going to talk about in a minute. But before we get into any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do. Woohoo!
Speaking of woohoos, you guys have unlocked the Geeky Sparkles Christmas pin. So if you go out to the Geeky Sparkles Retro Christmas Glitter Enamel Pin Kickstarter, you can see that you can either get a geeky pin by herself, or you can add a geeky pin onto your existing pledge.
Just make sure that when you add it, it doesn't erase your pledge, because people found that out last time, that they thought they bought all the pins in an add-on and somehow it overrode it. Yeah,
that's a little weird. You have to go in and change your rewards, and then you can do that as an add-on and not just the pin. So be careful, and then we'll remind people before we close out to just like double check your order and make sure everything's okay before we finalize. But thank you very much for the support.
Yep.
If we hit 15, which I don't know if we're going to, but if we do, I'm going to be a snowman. So we'll see if you want to build a snowman or not. All right, let's talk about this. Actually, before we get into that, I just wanted to point this out that we've been talking a lot about Warner Brothers and Netflix maybe buying Warner Brothers. Well, now Xbox apparently wants to buy Warner Brothers games, and we know that that is another blow for physical games, because Xbox is going to be they're going to make it part of Game Pass, which means like Mortal Kombat and all those games, DC games, Hogwarts Legacy, all that stuff will be digital on Game Pass. Because that's what they want. They don't want you to own your games. They've said as much. A couple of years ago, Ubisoft's executives said gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games. So here we are.
Well, I don't understand. Like, if that's the case, and why bother with like Switch 2 taking other games and making them Switch 2 games when they're the same game as Switch 1?
Well, because you have to pay to upgrade.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and then you pay an upgrade, but it's still digital. It's still going to be downloaded. It's still using power. If you truly feel that the carbon footprint is the issue, you would stop making games and systems entirely, because the systems are drained. I mean, on resources. If you even look it up, it'll tell you that the systems themselves, use a lot of power, and especially if you're going to play games online and it's like AI, and you have the blockchain crap and the AI crap, and we've talked before about how all these houses are getting higher electric bills because you're paying for these AI centers that keep popping up. So if the video games want to put AIs in their things, it's going to be more of those centers popping up that you're paying for. And I'm calling bullshit that it has that making games physical copies is a worse carbon footprint than all the crap with digital stuff.
Yeah, it's a really flimsy argument, but the sheeple will probably buy. I remember a couple of years ago. Remember NFTs? Like, you don't hear anything about NFTs.
Yeah, and I told you then I thought it was a flash in the pan, not waste your time on it.
So the technology will last, but it was overinflated. I feel the same way about AI. I think the technology will last, but I think we're gonna find out that the capabilities are way overinflated. But that's a whole nother thing. Everybody's complaining about NFTs. We won't work with any company that uses NFTs because it hurts the environment, as they're tweeting up a storm and their tweets take up more or use a bigger carbon footprint than the NFTs did.
Yeah, I know, and that's like, what they keep fundamentally misunderstanding this. But then beyond that, it's like make no mistake, the digital copy thing is like you said, they don't want you to own anything because then you can't. They can take it away from you for the slightest infraction. You can't, sell it to somebody else and get your money back. There's still could be limited amount of physical copies, and there's unlimited digital copies, but you can't transfer those. And this is about them making money, because if you have to buy everything digital, you have to pay for the same price. You're not getting a price break when they don't make physical copies, are you?
I am waiting for them to make it illegal at some point to sell your games, and this is how they keep people from selling games is make it digital. You have to have it locked to your account, whatever. But right now there's a massive resurgence in retro gaming, and guess what? That company doesn't make any money off of resale. They sold that game 20 years ago. They don't make a dime off of it. But if they can put it on their platform and you do Game Pass or something, they're still making money off of you.
Right. And then it's all digital.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they have these like $80 games out in the store if you buy the physical copy, but the price online is the same price if you buy digital or physical. It's
the same with comics too. Everybody's like, oh, digital comics. It's like, cool. Is that going to lower the price? Because $5 for a floppy comic is highway robbery.
Because they don't lower the price though. So it's about them not having to spend money on making physical stuff.
Maximum profit.
And then they get to keep every penny of that as their profit. So this is what it's about. It's about them keeping money, them trying to phase out things so that you can, one, not resell to somebody else. Two, you can't you can't have a physical copy, so you can they change things. You have a physical copy, they can't change. They can lock your system now, if they don't like what you have on it. This is so they can make record profits, and they're trying to say it's about, because the people aren't buying it, they're going back to retro games. Well, it's about the carbon footprint. Carbon footprint my ass. Because even solar power, wind power, those things still take oil to run. You still have to have petroleum and fossil fuels to run them. And those windmills, you can't recycle the damn things. So there's all these blades that are being buried in the ground because they'll never break down because you can't recycle them. And some of the stuff that they do is just as bad for the environment, if not worse. And electric cars is up for debate because there's some things in those batteries. But it's good for the environment because they say so. But when you look into it and you actually look at it, it's not as good as they're saying it is. And if they're putting AI and making these new systems, and if they cared about the carbon footprint, you wouldn't be having the AI. You wouldn't be having these systems. They'd stop making all of it. They would only make for old consoles, but they're not doing that, are they?
No, they should. They should.
I was like, when you told me this, I was like, oh, hell no.
You know what? We've kind of, and we talked about this before we recorded. We kind of plateaued with the technology that what is acceptable enough for gamers, and people are going back and playing old games. I'm like, just make new games for old consoles, which some companies are doing. But if you like you said, if you really care about the environment, like, okay, fine, we're just gonna make PS3 and PS4 games.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was reading too. What can you do? What can you do on your console so you're not using as much electricity and much energy and much carbon footprint? If you look that up, it'll say things like, tone down your screen brightness, play games that aren't so graphic intensive that it processor intensive that it has to keep running so much and draining power and resources. Yeah, you know what does that? 16-bit games.
Yeah, right. Let's just play 16-bit games forever. I'm cool with that. So what's interesting is where this is coming from. It's a French carbon accounting firm, Greenly. You know who else is French? Ubisoft. You know who else said that they don't want you to actually own your games? Ubisoft. I'm just saying these things may or may not be related. A new study, this is coming from gamesindustry.biz, by the way. A new study has found that buying physical copies of games is 100 times more carbon intensive than buying the digital version. Just don't make new consoles. The report, The Carbon Footprint in Gaming, has been produced by French carbon accounting firm Greenly and examines the environmental impact of PC, consoles, mobile, and handhelds, as well as the production of games in different formats. Greenly found that the manufacture and transportation of physical games has a significant impact on the environment, with the firm's Theo Nicolas Guillaume estimating that the manufacture and packaging of 1 million discs can emit 312 tons of carbon dioxide. Well, yeah, especially if it's a shitty game.
Well, yeah, no, but here's the thing. If you look into how much you're emitting from playing games, it's quite a bit as well.
Yes, that's like they're gonna dance all these physical games. I'm like, you're making new consoles. They're using more energy every time you make one. Now, well, Microsoft, I remember forcing people's Xboxes to go into green mode and all this other crazy stuff. Like they do that with your computer too. I'm like, why is my computer running like ass? Oh, Microsoft is trying to quote unquote help the environment, but also, they take advantage of it. They're like, hey, we need to upsell you on some
pretty much.
shit.
Look, I'm looking here. It said playing online games contributes to the CO2 emissions through electricity consumption. They said the estimates vary, but some suggest high-performance gaming devices emit about 72 kilograms of CO2 annually. 1 hour of cloud gaming can emit 364 grams or whatever. Comparable. Yeah. It's comparable to driving a short distance. So I'm like, if you're okay, so that's 364 is a little teeny bit of the 72. So that would probably times how many people. I guarantee you, it's going to be as much as the shipping of games, because the games being made and shipped, they go to one location, people come and buy them.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. The report highlights that the extraction of rare earth metals and plastic during the production of physical discs requires high energy usage and can deplete already finite water resources. Unlike making consoles.
I was going to say, how about what you have in the consoles, which requires more of those things? Then if you really feel this way, stop selling your consoles. Get out of games altogether. You're hurting the environment. It's because it's not about that.
Computers, cell phones. I would say cell phones probably do more harm, and they're not going to tell people not to buy cell phones. Yeah, if they were really that concerned, be like, you know what, guys, let's not make new consoles. It takes a lot of energy. Let's just make old games forever. Let's just make games for old consoles forever. Make a standard, like this is the box, right? Then this is kind of the plateau for console games. It's the box, ideally not online all the time, and that's it.
Well, as I say, or strip down the games they're doing so they're less graphic intensive.
There you go.
And don't use the AI in your gameplay and stuff, or don't allow people to play games with other people around the country or the world, online, because that's a huge drain on resources if they truly believe this. Because they don't truly believe this. This is about how to keep the most money in their pocket, but then still charge you the same amount of money.
Well, that's going to be the next thing, because all these AI data centers need graphics cards and GPUs, and they'll be like, "Oh, guys, you should be playing less graphics intensive video games, so we can take all those, take all the chips for ourselves."
But that'll be that. But then they'll do that, and they'll be like, "Well, the games are still $80 a game."
Yeah, well, that's just it. Yeah, the price will never come down. The price will never come down.
And it's only digital. You don't get a physical copy.
Here it is. Cloud-based gaming. Using platforms like Xbox Cloud Gaming and PlayStation Now fared better, as it required neither physical games or physical consoles. But this was partially offset by the power demands of the servers that host it.
Oh, yeah, those servers, you know how draining those servers are? Oh, my gosh.
They said the Switch 1's actually the best option. It uses the least amount of energy. That thing will go for Switch 1, man. It will go for like 10 hours. It's ridiculous. I remember Game Boys back in the day, they used to eat batteries like crazy, but the report suggested several means by which game companies could reduce carbon emissions. Okay, here we go. This included console manufacturers running trade-in programs that would enable components to be reused, shipping consoles with default settings that would reduce energy consumption and thus carbon footprint.
Make games unplayable.
Yeah, right. And developers optimizing games to minimize electricity consumption. They're doing that with Fortnite. It singled out Microsoft's digital Xbox Series as one of the most eco-friendly products on the market due to its energy-saving power and being partly manufactured with recycled materials. Again,
they want them to take stuff back in and reuse the parts and charge you the same amount of money. You're going to reuse parts, recycle stuff that you've given back to them, and then charge you more money for the system.
They're not going to like this. They're not going to like this at all. Okay. One, they want to put the electrical usage on downloads. Like, it's going to cost the environment this many environment points EP to download your game. Do you want to spend your, oh my God, what they'll do is they'll give you like so many environmental points per month you can spend on games or some shit. You watch. It sounds crazy, but we've seen some crazy shit lately. No, they said they also proposed a new industry and community focus on secondhand physical games in the style of recent trends for thrift and secondhand shopping. Well, that won't maximize profits for Microsoft, will it?
No, and that's what they're not going to do. But here's the thing: they're going to, is there going to be, carbon emissions if you drive to the store to buy the used game or go to the garage sale to find it? It's ridiculous. It's a never-ending cycle that you could argue over and over that everything's bad. And if you really truly believe that the environment is the environment's in trouble and you need to do stuff to save it, then you wouldn't be making any of this stuff at all.
Yeah, yeah, but they're going to use this. I guarantee you, especially Microsoft, because they're trying to get away from physical altogether. They're trying to make Xbox a platform, basically. You just stream through your TV or your phone or whatever garbage you have. They're going to use this to try to push people into digital downloads.
When you were joking about having the points, I was going to say, who's not going to have to be beholden to that? The major companies, the ones that you all have to pay for it, you'll have to suffer, but the corporations will get to do whatever the hell they want.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah, and that's what this is all about. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And as far as the environmental concerns and stuff, whatever happened to the hole in the ozone layer? Does it still exist?
I think it's sealed back up.
Okay, do we have whales? It sealed itself up. It was like, it just took a big dump. It just like belched and then it just like sealed. Because I remember when we were kids, the hole in the ozone layer was the biggest damn thing. Like it was going to, like if you went outside and you were standing underneath the hole in the ozone layer, which you couldn't see, but it was supposedly there, you would fry like an ant under a magnifying glass. Like what was up? They had TV specials dedicated to the hole in the ozone layer. The fucking Care Bears were like all about the hole in the ozone layer, and they went environmental in the 90s. And that's all we heard about. And then we heard nothing about it. It was like, don't use hairspray, don't use whipped cream, don't use whatever, because the hole in the ozone layer. Now they're like, yeah, whatever. Server farms down the road, just turn the whole planet into Coruscant.
Even if you do everything you can to, save power, save, emissions, other countries aren't. Not saying that makes it okay. I'm just saying until everybody unites to agree to do anything, it's not going to make much of a difference anyway. But it's just funny to me because and before people are like, oh my God, you don't care about the environment. Kneon, do I not care about the environment?
It drives me freaking nuts about the recycling. I'm just like, throw it out. It's all going to wind up on a garbage barge to China or something anyway. But she's like, no. We have to cut the Pepsi 6-pack plastic so the sea turtles don't die.
It's true. Or other animals. But I'm always recycling. I recycle plastic bags. When I go out and do trash pickup, which I do every spring around the area.
I don't know why she does it.
I do it.
She was a Girl Scout. I'm like, come on.
Well, because I hate it. And I'm afraid animals
but they just dirty it up again.
They do. But I'm afraid animals are going to get hurt. So I go out and I pick up, and I take different bags, and they each have their own type of stuff. So they go to the recycling center in the right bag, so that everything that was out there could be recycled is recycled.
Yes.
So don't give me this. You don't care about the environment. That's why you're saying this. Oh, contrary. A lot of these people who say that do absolutely nothing to help the environment. And I think it's funny because they're like, want to shit on you. They don't do anything themselves.
No. They do plenty. They complain about NFTs and AI and whatever the big bad of the week is, the monster.
Well, by using using blockchain and all that to do it.
Yes, using their phones and using the social media. Yeah.
It's but this whole thing is not about the environment. If it was about the environment, they would be making other changes, some of the ones that they recommended to save the environment or to help with that. They're not. This is about them charging the same amount of money without physically producing anything, and then them controlling your system and what you can have on it. That's what this is all about.
Yes.
They don't give two shits about, saving the environment. It's about using it as a smokescreen to take more money from you and control more of what you do.
Yep. That's every major corporation now, especially a corporation like Microsoft or Sony or So, are we gonna wrap it up?
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.